Now let's evaluate this website's accuracy and reliability. The first question we want to ask is the information factually correct and reliable? And at the moment we are unable to answer this question because we do not have the background and the topic required to see if this information is in fact correct. If we had prior knowledge from our research, if we got into our research a little bit more, we might be able to check with our other resources to see if this information is correct. But since we're just beginning our research, we are unable to answer this. Once you get a little farther in your research, you should be able to see if the information is factually correct and reliable by using your knowledge you gained from your other sources or any prior knowledge that you may have coming into the research. But for right now, let's just assume we have no prior knowledge, so we can't check that right now. Our next question is, what are the author's research methods? And to answer this, let's go into the article we are interested in. So I'm going to go back into the history of communism. I'm going to click on the Marxist origins of communism. And here we are back in the article. Now, it doesn't look like that the author lists any research methods. I don't see on this page, not at the top or the bottom. I'm going to the next page. Don't see any here. What about the last page? Nope, doesn't look like there's any here either. This right here looks like a bibliography, but it's not the same as research methods. So it doesn't look like that the author lists any research methods. So let's go back to the first page. And our next question is, does the author provide supportive evidence? Does the author cite other research? And the author does use the works of other people. As we can see here, he uses a quote from Locke, and he mentions for what work it is. So he does use supportive evidence from other thinkers. Our next question is, does the author provide notes, a bibliography, or a list of references? The author does not provide a list of references. The best he provides is a bit of a bibliography, a small bibliography on the last page. But there is no list of references, nor are there footnotes or endnotes either. And in fact, the citations that the author uses is very informal. The author just lists the author's name and the work it's from and doesn't seem to be using any formal citation method such as MLA or APA. Our next question is proper grammar and spelling used? And in order to answer this, we'd have to get into the article itself. We'd have to read passages from the article to see if the grammar and spelling is correct. But from a cursory glance, they do appear to be correct. However, we would really need to actually be reading passages to better gauge the grammar and spelling of this article. Our next question is, are quotations attributed to named people? And as mentioned, the author does attribute the quotes to named people. He names Locke for this quote and even provides a picture and where the quote is from. However, as mentioned, it doesn't follow any formal citation method. Now, just judging from what we see in this article, I would have to say that this article is probably unreliable. The lack of references at the end of the article, as well as any kind of formal citation method, makes this article come off as not scholarly. That's not to say that the information is inaccurate, it just means that I would want to verify any information I use from this article with another source. I would definitely want to verify the information because I am not sure if this information is accurate, since I don't believe that the information is very reliable. Now, for the sake of example, let's move on to the next evaluation criteria, coverage. When we discuss coverage, the first thing we want to consider is the information relevant to the specific topic? Now, as mentioned, we wanted a bit of a background on communism for our paper, since our topic is religion in communist China. So we want to get a bit of an understanding about communism for our paper. It doesn't mean communism will be the bulk of our paper, but we want a little background. So this information does appear to be relevant. However, we do want to read parts of this article before we decide if we want to use it for our paper, decide if it is really relevant. The title says it is about the Marxist origins of communism. However, it could veer off in any sort of direction. We are unsure if it really sticks to that topic or if it even provides anything of relevance to us at all. So we'll want to get into the article to be sure if it provides relevant information. Our next question is, does the source answer the major questions you have about the topic? And again, we're going to have to get into the article itself to judge this, but from a cursory glance, it looks like it might answer some of the major questions. It probably won't answer all of them, but it might answer at least one or two. However, we'll want to read it to be sure. Our next question is, does the source present comprehensive or selective coverage of the topic? And as we can tell from the title, it presents selective information about the topic, since it focuses on the Marxist origins of communism. Now, for our example paper, we're looking for more of a general overview about the origins of communism, so this information might be a bit too selective for us in its coverage. It might not give us the greater idea we're looking for. However, we'll still want to take a look at it to see if we can find something of use from it. Our next question is, what time period is covered? Is it recent or historical? And we can be very certain that the coverage is historical in nature, since it focuses on the origins of communism. And at least for our example paper, this is what we're kind of looking for. The next question we want to answer is the information presented regional, national, or international in scope? In order to answer this, again, we'd have to get into the article and begin reading it to get a better idea. A cursory glance makes it appear that it is national, but we'd want to read it to get a better idea. The overall website appears to be international in scope, however, since it has articles about different nations across the world. Our final question is, how unique is the information provided? Does it duplicate information we have in our other resources? And we could be fairly certain that this information is unique, since our first resource dealt with religion in China from an economical standpoint, and our second resource dealt with Christianity and its relationship with communism. So this resource deals with the origins of communism, specifically the Marxist origins of communism. So we could be fairly certain that this resource is probably unique, but we'd have to double check with our other resources.